From Nollywood trend, a new vision roars to life. Heritage meets hyperrealism.
The story of Biafra is one of passion, memory, and the power of unresolved history, a narrative that has evolved from the turbulent days of military confrontation to the digital battleground of modern ideas. In this account, we travel from the era of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu's bold declaration of the Republic of Biafra and a brutal civil war, through decades of hushed dreams and secret remembrances, to the rise of Nnamdi Kanu and his contemporary movement that taps into the same deep emotional reservoir. This journey is filled with powerful images and critical moments that have shaped the struggle in ways that continue to resonate with many today. In the summer of 1967, under the leadership and fervor of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, a new entity was proclaimed, a state forged out of a mix of hope, determination, and the burning desire for self-determination. Ojukwu's Biafra emerged at a time when political marginalization had nearly choked the aspirations of the Igbo people. The bold declaration of the Republic of Biafra on May 30, 1967, was both an act of courage and an act of desperation, marking the beginning of a conflict that would extend for 30 long months. In this era, the idea of freedom was a tangible reality, expressed through a military leader determined to carve out a space where his people could secure economic justice, claim political respect, and seek retribution for long-standing grievances. The civil war that followed was as fierce as it was tragic. Battles were waged not only on the front lines but in the hearts of ordinary citizens. More than 1 million Igbo civilians lost their lives in the course of this devastating conflict. The aftermath saw the surrender of Biafra in 1970. Yet even as the Nigerian government declared a no victor, no vanquished settlement, the wounds of war ran deep. The issues that had launched the struggle, the political marginalization of the Igbo, their economic exclusion, military repression, and the glaring absence of justice for historic war atrocities, remained unresolved. Despite the capitulation on the battlefield, a lingering sensation of injustice, an unresolved conflict of identity and aspiration, continued to echo in the corridors of history. It was as if a dormant volcano waited beneath the surface, its embers fanned by memories of a brutal past. As the early 1970s turned into the late 1990s, a quiet but persistent undercurrent sustained the dream of Biafra. During these years, even though the physical conflict had ended, the idea of a distinct Igbo nation survived in subtle yet resilient forms. In family gatherings and over cups of steaming tea, elders recalled the valor and the tragedy of those years, passing on stories that soon transformed into folklore. The images of lost loved ones, the hope for justice, and the yearning for a dignified future were woven into songs and personal narratives. In the quiet moments of daily life, the Biafran dream remained alive among those who suffered the loss and felt the sting of political exclusion. During these decades, organizations like Semasobi took shape, reviving these sentiments in the public sphere. Founded by figures such as Ralph Uwazaru, Semasobi represented a non-violent revival of the historical spirit, a symbolic stand against neglect and marginalization. Yet, despite its noble intentions, the movement never grew large enough to radically alter the state of affairs. It remained an undercurrent in Nigeria's vast mainstream, a reminder that the ideal of Biafra was not extinguished by the war's end, but rather kept alive, simmering quietly in the hearts of a people who continued to believe in the possibility of a better future. The stage was thus set for a modern transformation, a digital renaissance where old grievances found new expression. Enter Nnamdi Kanu, a figure who, beginning in 2012, would rise rapidly to become the face of what many now call the second wave of the Biafran struggle. In a striking contrast to Ojukwu's militaristic approach, Kanu's strategy was characterized by the use of digital platforms, modern media, and a charismatic populist message that resonated deeply with a new generation. Kanu founded the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, with a clear goal: to restore the defunct state of Biafra, not by fighting physical battles, but by commanding an ideological and digital revolution. Kanu's appeal was rooted in the same deep-seated historical grievances that had fueled the original war. For decades, the Igbo people had felt the sting of exclusion and marginalization, and these feelings had only grown more intense over time. Contemporary economic hardships, pervasive youth unemployment, and a general sense of being sidelined in political affairs provided fertile ground for Kanu's message. He tapped into this collective frustration, offering a channel for voices that had too long been silenced. With an air of modern defiance, Kanu gave form to the discontent and transformed it into a powerful platform for action, One of the key innovations that propelled Kanu's movement into the modern spotlight was the establishment of Radio Biafra, a UK-registered station. That became the beating heart of his digital warfare. Radio Biafra was not just a broadcasting tool, it became a vehicle for unfiltered messages that cut through the noise, reaching millions across the globe. This digital network reawakened a once dormant Biafran identity, transforming what was once a mere memory into a rallying cry for a cultural and political resurgence. The use of digital tools allowed Kanu to bridge the gap between history and contemporary issues, turning the struggle into a global conversation that transcended traditional media boundaries. The experience was markedly different from the days of Ojukwu's communication, which was largely limited by technological constraints and the physical barriers of a wartime environment. Youth in particular found in Kanu a beacon of hope. Born in an era starkly different from the time of civil war, this new generation did not inherit a legacy solely defined by sacrifice and trauma. Instead, they grew up in a landscape marked by economic uncertainty, insecurity, and a palpable absence of political representation. For these young people, the failure of the state to provide jobs, security, and a promising future resonated on a deeply personal level. They saw in Kanu not merely a leader but a symbol, a galvanizing figure who embodied the possibilities of change and the rediscovery of a proud, unfulfilled identity. His message was clear and accessible, and for many it was the first time that their frustrations found an articulate and bold voice. Ironically, it was often the heavy hand of government crackdowns that further amplified Kanu's influence. In attempts to quell what was seen as a secessionist threat, authorities resorted to arrests, detentions, and military raids. However, these measures had the unintended effect of transforming Kanu into a martyr figure, a symbol of resistance and defiance. Even his periods of imprisonment became emblematic of the larger political and security challenges facing Nigeria. Instead of quelling dissent, the government's actions often validated the sentiment that the Igbo struggle for dignity was not merely a fringe movement, but a critical issue that demanded attention, both within Nigeria and on the global stage. A fascinating element of this modern transformation is the symbolic transition from Ojukwu to Kanu. While Ojukwu was a military leader who ushered Biafra into existence through physical confrontation, Kanu is a civilian activist who has redefined the struggle. In ideological and digital terms, the older era was characterized by the declaration of a physical state, a territorial domain fought over in bloody battles. In contrast, Kanu declared a digital movement, a resurgence of Biafran identity that spread across social media, radio waves, and digital forums, uniting people from various walks of life in a common cause. The communication strategies also evolved, where Ojukwu's Biafra was limited by the reach and constraints of wartime broadcasts. Kanu's Radio Biafra broke through boundaries to deliver messages of hope and defiance to a global audience. In essence, while the struggle for Biafran identity originally had a territorial component, under Kanu it has become more spiritual, cultural, and global, a movement that lives in the shared memories and aspirations of an entire community. The emotional core of the Biafra narrative has always been its blend of memory, identity, trauma, hope, and a relentless yearning for dignity. For many Igbo people, Biafra is far more than a political agenda. It is a repository of personal and collective experiences that have shaped generations. The pain of loss, the scars of war, and the bitter taste of exclusion have combined with the resilient spirit of survival to create a complex tapestry of emotion. In revisiting this history, one encounters scenes of both profound sorrow and inspiring hope. It is in this emotional mixture that Kanu finds his power. By tapping into these deep-rooted feelings, he is able to transform historical grievances into a dynamic call for change, a movement that speaks to both the heart and the mind. As we consider the journey from Ojukwu's Biafra to Nnamdi Kanu's reimagined Biafra, it becomes clear that history is not static. It is instead a living narrative that evolves, absorbing new tools, ideas, and voices as the times change. Ojukwu's bold declaration in 1967 set in motion a chain of events that would leave an indelible mark on the psyche of a people. The Civil War and its aftermath created a well of unresolved issues and unhealed wounds that, for decades, simmered beneath the surface. This period of quiet reflection and suppressed longing gave rise to conversations and family stories, in songs that recalled what might have been, and in quiet moments of introspection where the dream of Biafra never truly died. Then came the era of digital communication and modern activism, a time when old pain met new technology. Nnamdi Kanu, by harnessing the power of radio and digital networks, demonstrated that the struggle for identity and justice could be reborn and recontextualized in the modern world. The lessons of the past were reinterpreted to address the pressing issues of today: youth unemployment, security challenges, and political disenfranchisement. The narrative shifted from one of physical conflict to one of ideological liberation, where global platforms replaced the limitations of local warfare. This evolution is not a repudiation of history, but rather a continuation of it. The modern Biafran movement carries with it the weight of historical memory, even as it adapts to contemporary realities. The reverberations of the past still echo in every broadcast on Radio Biafra.
From Nollywood trend, a new vision roars to life. Heritage meets hyperrealism.